purification. All the evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and folly, born of my body, mouth, and thought, I now confess and purify them all.
Gateless Gate, Case 16. When the bell sounds. Ummon said, the world is vast and wide. Why do you put on your 7-piece robe at the sound of the bell? In studying Zen, you should not be swayed by sounds and forms. Even though you attain insight when hearing a voice or seeing a form, this is simply the ordinary way of things. Don't you know that the real Zen student commands sounds, controls the forms, is clear-sighted at very event and free on every occasion? Granted you are free, just tell me, does the sound come to the ear, or does the ear go to the sound? If both sound and silence die away at such a junction, how could you talk of Zen? While listening with your ear, you cannot tell. When hearing with your eye, you are truly intimate. Mumon's verse. With realization, things make one family. Without realization, things are separated in 1,000 ways. Without realization, things make one family. With realization, things are separated in 1,000 ways. Since today's Zazenkai is called OHIGAN, let me start that part first before going into the gateless gate. The Indian mentality and the Chinese mentality and Japanese mentality and American mentality are different. culturally they are all different. The idea of Higan did not have in India, nor in China, and it came when Mahayana Buddhism was introduced to Japan with the Japanese tradition, culture, as well as Buddhism. Somehow they created the term called Higan. Literally, it means the other shore. From here, it's very easy to tell you geographical part. Right now, we are in Manhattan, state of New York. Over there, there's the Hudson River. The other shore is the state of New Jersey. So Higan literally means state of New Jersey from this place. Of course, we are not talking geographical matter. It's important days to commemorate our ancestors, especially mother, father, maybe grandfather, grandmother, and all those who remember and want to express our gratitude. And therefore, Higan time is a time for many people with the flowers, incense, go to cemetery and feel as if we have met again with transformed individuals. In Song of Zazen, there's one part of it, it said, but there is a term called 6 parameters. The parameter means to reach the other shore, to reach New Jersey. This is called parameter. And of course, speaking geography in New York and New Jersey, there are 3 different ways, I assume. One is taking a car and drive to George Washington Bridge. Another one is Lincoln Tunnel. Another one is taking a ferry to reach the other shore. But we are not talking that one. We are talking the spiritually to reach the other shore. And to say other shore is incorrect because there is no this shore, the other shore. In one sense, yes, this is the New York, and over there is New Jersey, different states, but both are in the United States of America. So in this sense, to say this side or that side itself is inaccurate. Nevertheless, we have to admit we are confused individuals, greedy individuals, etc., etc. individuals. And it's unless we acknowledge that nature of dirty part of human nature, there's no point for us to do sitting or any kind of practice. So we want to make spiritual progress. Therefore, we chant, we sit, and we study, etc., etc. So one of them is called Fuse, means charity. Some pope said the church cannot exist without charitable action. The charity or generosity or even thoughtfulness. If someone does not have money, at least he can be or she can be nice to the others, smile to the others, don't say nasty words, just be ordinary. That itself is the Fuse, charity. And next is Jikai. This is to observe the rules. Punctuality of time is one of them. We have some rules in our society, otherwise we'll be more confused. So just follow the rules. Next one is Ninniku, it's called endurance. Life itself is hard, but endure, endure, and endure. And you have been enduring your own way, but still life is not easy. And we dream some easy way, but somehow life itself is dukkha. Dukkha means hard or pain or suffering. The Buddha said, life is dukkha. This is no negotiation, that is declaration. But we, bumpkins, want to negotiate to make it dukkha, make it want less. That's impossible. But what we can do is work hard in the midst of dukkha, the suffering. So this is the third. Shojin. This is endeavor or perseverance. And then Zenjo, do Zazen, and even for few seconds, okay, I'm not exaggerating, even for a few seconds, if you can reach your guts and you sense your chi, you accomplished. A taste of Zazen. And this is called Zenjo. It literally means Zen Samadhi. And it's not so easy to go into Zen Samadhi, but for a few seconds, or luckily few minutes, you can taste exquisite taste of life. Wow, this is wonderful. This is what we are doing. And finally, the chie, which means wisdom. It's not knowledge, but wisdom. And these 6 steps, 6 parameters, spiritually we can go to the other shore, or more profoundly, we can realize this very place is no other than the other shore as well. In other words, Manhattan is Fort Lee. So, getting back once more, the significance of Higan or OHIGAN is a day for us to know the 6 parameters and the direction how to make spiritually make progress. And realizing how much we owe to our parents, particularly to the mother. And each one has a different relationship with your parents, but without her and father, we could not come out to be here. So this is a good day for you to express your gratitude. To feel gratitude is to say often, we say often, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, very lightly, but still, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That itself makes us feel so good. So whether it is English or whichever the language you may use, ありがとうございます、gracias. Anyway, that is about Higan, which happens twice a year. The equinox day, spring equinox, autumn equinox, which took place yesterday. So it's supposed to be, there's a saying in Japan, 暑さ寒さも彼岸まで hot, hot, cold, cold, we say, but it's at the end, at the time on the Higan, it changes. But this year, as soon as we hear Higan, it became so hot. So supposed to be cooler, cooling down, it will be. So, Mumonkan Case. The first sentence speaks everything. Mumonkan said, the world is vast and wide. Period. For this, nobody object. Yes, world is vast and wide. Then he said to the monks, why do you put on your 7-piece robe at the sound of the bell? And this is, of course, testing how deeply and clearly the monks understand the first sentence. The world is vast and wide. Everybody knows intellectual, and some of us tasted a little bit. The world is vast and wide, and bottomlessly profound. That is the reality, both experiential reality and intellectual reality. Nobody can argue for this. And we accept this. Yet, quite often, perhaps 20 hours a day, we forget and go into sort of realistic three-dimensional world where there is loss and gain, likes and dislikes, love and hate, war and peace, etc., etc., etc. And consequently, we suffer. Consequently, some people commit suicide. And indeed, in one sense, okay, world is vast and wide. This is so true, unshakable truth. And yet, when we hear whether it is a fake news or real news, right now on this planet, what's going on is unspeakably terrible. Really, unspeakably terrible. Yet, world is vast and wide. In one sense, I often think this way. Well, I experienced World War II, so I know the taste of the war a little bit, and the post-war bitterness. But now, in one lifetime, I may be able to experience the completely different, yet undescribable things may happen. Most likely, as long as what news says is true, and there may be anyway, you already know. So my point is this: the world is vast and wide. This is, we all agree. Then, instead of saying, why do you put on your 7 pieces of robe at the sound of bell? We do anyway. When Jikijitsu strikes the inkin, chin, we stand up. When Jikijitsu strikes the crapper twice, we bow and start to walk. There's no place where why, because. There's no space why and because. We just do it. We just do it. When bell rings, chiri, 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 people somehow gather into the zendo and find their seat and sit down. So there's no point why. This why is unnecessary. The world is vast and wide. We stand up at the sound of king bell, ching. We start kinging. We end kinging at the sound of. We sit down, ching. No why, no because. Okay, no why, no because. Now getting back to the so-called real world, what's happening in the United States and North Korea particularly. Here, we cannot say no why, no because. This is this is where I feel that something else, not our three-dimensional ordinary life, where we have likes and dislikes and loss and gain, peace and war, etc., etc., etc. This is, we are so familiar. But what is happening now is what they want. They mean President Trump and the leader of North Korea should realize the world is vast and wide, period. Of course, they will not, and they're not ready, and therefore the world is in danger. If they have a moment to sit down, to count their breath, to say even for as little, as short as 5 or 10 minutes hopefully 1 hour a day. They can accept the world is vast and wide. And when time comes, we may become sick, fine. When time comes, we may pass away, fine. When it rains, we may get wet, fine. But this fine, okay, accept, fine, all right, fine. This acceptance of three-dimensional reality, they somehow refuses to accept. They want to conquer the others, to beat. And this is where the problem is. And we are all victim of their twisted mentality. So the Mumonkan said, or Shakyamuni Buddha said, Rinzai said, Hakuin said, the world is vast and wide. And take off this why. Put on your 7 pieces robe when time comes. And this why is the first point to confuse us. The Mumon's comment. In studying Zen, you should not be swayed by sounds and forms. You should not be swayed by media. Media is correct? Media, news, and particularly now. And yet, this is so interesting. Nowadays, I have never seen television news and newspaper. Nowadays, I read the newspaper every single day. I watch the news every day. And deceiving myself that I'm with it. The real thing is going on behind us, I assume. The real thing is only few people know. And what we know is just a deception by media. Nevertheless, as long as you know that much, we are deceived. Still, we feel that we are with it. In studying Zen, you should not be swayed by sounds and forms and medias. Even though you attain insight when hearing a voice or seeing a form, this is simply the ordinary way of things. Don't you know that real Zen students command the sounds, control the forms, is clear-sighted at every event and free on every occasion. Command the sounds, control the forms, accepts. This is one of the most important English word. Accept things as they are, instead of trying to manipulate, instead of trying to change in a way like you want. Rather accept, okay. Somehow big things are moving beyond the individual's personal wishes. A good example is we do Zazen, hoping that, okay, we can do deep Zazen without dozing, and hopefully we can be enlightened in this Zazenkai. But now, so many times we did Zazenkai, nobody was enlightened. But somehow, from time to time, the taste comes to our body and mind. Oh yes, there is a chi moving. Certainly circulation, I feel it. This is not a deception. This is not a concept, but a reality. Yes, this is real Zazen, true. And then, naturally, we want more, deeper, and great enlightenment. Huge human desire. But somehow, so far, it doesn't happen. But we learned how to accept, all right? We did Zazen, monthly Zazenkai. And less expectation, more acceptance. This is what we are. Great. This is really great. Less expectation, less deception, more acceptance. This is what we should be. Granted, you are free. Just tell me, does the sound come to the ear, or does the ear go to the sound? Unga, strike the gong. What does it say? Does the sound come to the ear, or does the ear go to the sound? Kane ga naru ka, shimoku ga naru ka. Does the bell ring or strike a ring? And everybody knows that with combined effort, If both sound and silence die away at such a junction, how could you talk of them? I will talk to you now. While listening with your ear, you cannot tell. When hearing with your eyes, you are truly intimate. There is expression, this is a proverb in Japan, okay? 目は口ほどに物を言い Eyes speak even more than mouth. Eyes speak even more than mouth. And you may be confused, or you may doubt. Look, I'll tell you what you do. Wink. Wink. Without talking, convey. Without explanation. Hey, Linda. I don't have to say anything. And she get it. So, while listening with your ear, you cannot tell. When hearing with your eye, you are truly intimate. 目は口ほどに物を言い eyes speak more than tongue. So it's not only Japanese proverb, it can be an American proverb, as long as there is such a word, wink. So all in all, what he's trying to say is the world is wide and vast, and all in all, he's trying to say is to testify. Aha, such thing does exist. And in order to do so, do Zazen. Even as short 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 day, 1 hour. Nowadays, Zazen population is really increasing. Different terms are used, such as mindfulness, practice of mindfulness. But meaning is Zazen. And this is really without discrimination. All human beings can taste the exquisite taste of hara, chi, or samadhi. And of course, we would like to keep that for good. But when we stand up, the situation changes. But once you tasted that, this is not like education, accumulated knowledge, but somehow subtle way of breathing out, and the sensation of existence of hara, not physical, not necessarily physical hara. Somehow it can go that, and then stability. Then, okay, now okay, I can accept anything. And then greed comes. I want to have more. I want deeper. And then struggle within ourselves. Okay, yes, I will help you. I will help me. But I have to accept too. If it doesn't go well, fine. But at least once or twice or 10 times, 100 times, we tasted the exquisite taste, priceless taste of Zazen. That's it. What else we do need in this day and age? Since the World War II, 72 years passed. Right now, we are facing some situation. The only thing we can do is zazen and acceptance. That's it. Otherwise, we are. Seriously, maybe nothing will happen in one more year. But North Korea's the ICBM is seemingly more than what we think. And in the United Nations, there are 190 some nations are members, and out of that, 160 something nations are in connection, are in official diplomatic relation with North Korea. So, even though it's a small place, but we must not underestimate their ability. And the leader is a bit beyond rational individual, and so is the leader of the United States. So, only thing we can do is to realize the world is vast and wide. Do Zazen and learn how to accept whether it is right, whether you like it or dislike it. There's no other way but to accept. No other way but accept. I don't want to be defeated. I don't want to die. I don't want to become homeless. But nobody knows. Really, this is unpredictable. But this chance to do Zazen, this is with your effort, and it can be done. This is predictable. Acceptance, according to what you really understand, what I have been telling you, you can accept. So, the world is vast and wide, full of problems, but full of chance as well. Do zazen and accept things as they are. That's all we can do.